Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's our pleasure to have you here in our third BSCD virtual event. We are glad to have and host Dr. Ramin Mohajer. And Dr. Ramin Mohajer has been our BSCD friend, supporter, and a very good collaborator with us. We are so honored to have you with us, sir. Dr. Ramin, I would leave your own introduction to yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Dr. Ramin. تفضل دكتورنا.
أسعد الله مساكم بالخير والسرور، ويشرفني أني أكون معاكم حتى لو بالمنصة الافتراضية، بس أكون معاكم على الأقل في مملكة البحرين. أتمنى أن أنتوا وعوائلكم وأولادكم وأهلكم بخير وصحة وسلامة. I was instructed by the host to speak in English. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. And I will leave that choice for you according to your participants.
Okay. We can shift both ways. In case there are friends who do not speak Arabic, we'll stick to the English. Can we have the PowerPoint, please?
So the PowerPoint is already on the screen, and we can work on it. Here we go. And you have the option as well to turn on your video so people can see you as a thumbnail if you would wish to do that.
That's okay. I just have to check to change the PowerPoint. Will you be doing that, or do I have control?
You can do that, or I can stop the share from my end and you can start the PowerPoint share from your end, similar to اللي يصير في Zoom meeting. It's up to you.
Yeah, I don't want to keep the people waiting. I think it. Okay, I can just say next and
yes.
we'll move on.
Yes, of course. Go ahead.
Okay. First of all, I think just a bit of a background of what we're doing or what we're going through. The introduction was more than enough that Samira gave. I work basically for a ministry called the Ministry of Technology and Communications in Sultanate Oman. And into mashallah fil Bahrain, from what we hear from the WHO reports and the other reports, I think you're the third country in recovery after Japan, after China and South Korea. In Oman, we're alhamdulillah حكومتنا الرشيدة والتوجيهات اللي نحصلها. The country is in a sort of a lockdown. Cities are completely isolated from each other. In Muscat, there are certain areas of Muscat with larger expat population is completely sealed off. But alhamdulillah, the people are complying with the instructions very much and to a very large extent. And we as a ministry, what we've done from day one, it's now the 5th week we're in this. The entire ministry is working from home. Nothing has slowed down, nothing has stopped. And everybody shifted to the working home process very naturally and very smoothly. So alhamdulillah, of course, not all the organizations are at the same level of working from home, but our ministry, alhamdulillah, everything's running business as usual. I don't think anything has stopped. As far as our department goes, which is basically learning and development or human resource development, we are basically focusing on 2 things. And I just have to say that the focus we have in training and developing during this time is actually more than the previous times. And on average, we have at least every single employee in the ministry attending 1 webinar a day. Some people attend 2, some 3 a day. We have provided all the connections and all the programs for them. And we focused on them as well as their families. And from the beginning, everything we sent, we tried to send stuff that would actually help their families as well through this time in occupying kids and other members of the family. Our motto basically during this pandemic is basically 2 things. One is we talk and we look to the way forward, and we don't allow anyone and we don't encourage anyone to dwell on what's happening now or what we have lost. The focus is totally 100% on the future. And the second thing is we don't want to lose momentum. So the same speed that we've been developing in different areas with different people, we really wanted everybody to focus along those lines as well. So alhamdulillah, things are okay. I just want to explain one thing before we move forward. I specifically chose the title because it's recovering during COVID-19. Most people are focusing on, okay, let's wait and see what happens after Corona. Nothing's going to happen after Corona. We'll see some of the things that might happen, but in general, we should think about now, and we should be focused on now rather than dwelling or waiting. The third thing is, in the PowerPoint, you'll see some pictures. They have probably no relevance to the content. It's a very short PowerPoint. It's about 5 or 6 slides, but the pictures are actually reflections of pictures of our ministry. And you will see that it's very untypical of government ministry. So I thought I'll share those pictures with you. The reason we chose words was because I think there are a lot of words that people use during this period. We use it among ourselves. We use it while thinking and reflecting. We use it with our families. Our kids use it. And these are words that can be interpreted in two ways. And we're just going to share. It's a very friendly presentation. This is not a conference or a seminar. It's a friendly half-an-hour conversation in how to shift these words and shift the meanings and the way we think about them, because they can easily be taken negatively or positively. Sorry, Samira, can we have the next? Yeah, these are some of the walls in our ministry where we let people vent and يطلعوا اللي في قلبهم ويكتبوها. Can we have the words? Sorry. In any kind of a catastrophe, in any kind of a disaster, be it COVID-19, a volcano, earthquake, anything, لا سمح الله وبعيد الشر. Simply, we have three stages that all of us, as a society, as governments, as businesses, as families, as a society in general, go through. It's basically the start of it, which is usually mediocre in length. What happens during that, and that can be very long, can be short. It depends on the catastrophe, it depends on the pandemic. And the final stage, which is usually short, which is getting ready for the end. And we're going to see what words and what terminologies people, it goes through their mind and they think in each of these three levels. Yep, the next one. So basically, at the initial stage where we're talking about the first stage, which is the start, or let's say the beginning, one of the words that comes to mind is retreat. And basically, we used to pay a lot of money to go to retreats. People pay thousands of dollars. They go to somewhere which is unlike their surrounding, unlike their work environment, basically somewhere that's not that familiar to their usual daily life. And we used to, some employees used to dream of going to work in their pajamas, or think of going to different places, being able to work and be in the comfort of their living room. So these things were there, and COVID-19 provided that for us within a matter of days, or at the max weeks. So basically, we're living a life now that is not our normal life. And if we treat it as a retreat, we will have a much more positive way of looking at it. It's not a prison. It's not a starvation. Alhamdulillah, our markets are filled. Alhamdulillah, food and water and amnu aman and security is available. So this kind of an atmosphere, looking at it as a retreat, is one of the things that helped a lot of people be positive at the beginning of this pandemic. The second thing is balance. And we were seriously, as societies around the world, I'm not talking about Oman or Bahrain or anywhere in particular, as a world population, we were totally out of balance. If you think about any aspect of our lives, the traffic we used to drive through, the amount of work we used to do, excessive traveling sometimes, the expenses we used to spend by going coffee shops and restaurants and other things, and shopping left, right, and center, what we used to do to the environment, the amount of driving and petrol we used to use. So everything was really out of balance. And if we think that COVID-19 actually brought balance to our life, the time that was spent on everything except family is now totally the other way around. I take a walk around the neighborhood 1 hour a day. And almost every other house, families are in the garden playing with their kids, with their animals, with their siblings. And this is something that was unseen and unheard of because nobody had time. So the balance is something that COVID-19 positively brought into our working life, our social life. Think about the time you save getting ready to go to work, men and women. Think about the time that you used to spend on traffic, just getting to work. So all these things, really, we got a balance. And I'm not saying everybody, even after COVID-19, should work at home. Personally, I think there should be a balance between working at home and working in the office. You've definitely heard of the story of IBM. In the 1970s, IBM decided to tried, first of all, a few of their employees to work from home. They were very productive. And then they decided everybody should work from home. And they gave back the offices, and I think around 2,000 employees were working from home. And the company almost went bust. And they had to bring it back because the balance was not there. They discovered that a lot of their innovative ideas were created in the corridors and pantry and car parks and the little chats that employees do. So balance is another word that COVID-19 really brought into our lives. The other thing is the reaction that actually is another word that comes to mind. Now, the reaction at the beginning that people have, and most people had, were two things. One was worry, the other one was fear. Worry, قلق بالعربي, وفear, خوف. So people really had either worry or fear. And you definitely know that worry is actually when you don't know what's going to happen, you worry. You have fear of the known and worry of the unknown. So these were the two feelings that most people had at the beginning. Now, this reaction we will see later when we talk about stress, because both these reactions actually brought stress to most, if not all, of the people in society. But before that, plan was one of the things that a lot of people did. Look around you. I mean, you yourselves, your families, your colleagues. Did anybody really make a plan like they do of what am I going to do during this period? What's my aim? What's my objective? And most people didn't. And the result is that a lot of people tried to continue. So a lot of the other negative feelings were because we didn't have a plan. The plan we had in our lives was actually for life without COVID-19. And the life without COVID-19, all the logistics were taken away from us. So we were left with a plan because we didn't make a new one. We were working on the old one. And we were left with a plan and no way to implement it. And that's why I was talking to a friend of a family friend, and this guy works in restaurants and in Canada. And I was saying, so what are you doing now? And he said, oh, nothing. I don't go to work. So, and we get compensation from the government. So what do you do? We've almost finished everything on Netflix. And we stay up all night. We sleep the whole day. And we're just waiting. And waiting for what? Waiting for Corona to go. Okay. This is an excellent example of somebody that had a plan, had a life, but did not compensate it with another plan because the situation changed. So a simple question of what do you want to do and how do you want to do it would have been enough. What do I want to do? 1, 2, 5, 10 things during COVID-19? And how do I want to do them? And they would have definitely been different from what we did usually with when we were not restricted to our homes. Probably the most important word that I want to focus on is stress. And stress, especially at the beginning, and even now when we're sort of in the middle of it or the peak of the pandemic, stress is basically when your body and mind are out of balance. So your body is feeling one thing, your mind is feeling another thing, and that's when you get stressed. When stress happens, we basically it's basically we react to it. First of all, it's a short-term thing. Stress cannot last very long. It's maximum a matter of days, because more than that, you would die if you didn't change. So the amount of stress on a body physically and mentally cannot last more than a very short period of time. So we all went through the stress at the beginning. Now, what happened afterwards? What comes after stress? Samira, just to have a bit of an interaction, can anybody guess? I'm not seeing the chatting screen, but can anybody guess what comes after stress?
So, ladies and gentlemen, I would encourage you to chat or write it down in your chat box.
Change is very short term. So after the stress that we have, think of COVID-19. Think of what each one of you went through in 5 weeks. After the initial stress and panic, what did people go through? It's one of two things.
Yeah. So what we can say about that, doctor, is what came around is grounding, what came around is looking around, observing, meditating, and fixing our timings together, trying to do things. We'll get sick. Munir says, "Wait, we will get sick." That's one way of looking at things. I do have a poll where you can also answer the poll and say, how did you name the situation? So let us just put that down. Part one, and panelists are also. Let's see. How did you? So now you received a poll. Did you call it a pandemic or a challenge, opportunity or crisis? Interesting. We have a couple of answers are coming in. Answers are coming in. Excellent. So we have 30% of people are answering. Waiting for the rest. Excellent.
The people that said opportunity, I want to meet you when I come to Bahrain.
Yeah, there are 4 of them now. Great. So 60%. Waiting for the remaining 7%. What did you call this time? How did you describe it? So, pandemics, challenge, opportunity, crisis. Dr. Ramin, Faisal Asfour, I wonder if you remember that gentleman who was with us in IFTDO. He's saying, sure, doctor, anytime.
Thank you, Faisal.
Okay, so we have 61% of people are answering. So let's give it 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and now we are sharing the result. So look at the result. What do you think, doctor, about this result?
I think it's very good, and I think to be honest, there is no right and wrong answer. يعني الناس اللي قالوا pandemic or challenge or crisis الواحد ما يلومهم يعني. This is something they say that humanity has not faced in living memory, which means nobody alive in the past 100 years, anything close to this has happened. But let me go back, because what I'm going to say will engulf mostly opportunity, but maybe some of the other things as well. It will actually engulf all the 4 things. Once you go through stress, you basically, after a very short period, go into one of 2 channels. One is you become passive. So basically, you become non-productive. You become couch potato. You block things. You become closed. You become non-productive. So if you don't recover from stress in a proper way, in the right positive manner, you will actually become passive to it. And we will see that until the end of the pandemic, what will control you is external stuff, not internal. Now, the other half of the people, or the other half of the equation, people change. So you either change or you become passive. If you change, you actually go to the positive mode, which means you will adapt, you will recuperate, you will energize yourself, you will become creative, you will think out of the box. You will just be on the positive track if you change. And if you don't change and become passive, that's the negative track. So basically, why I wanted to emphasize on stress was the fact that I'm sure you guys are familiar with Dr. Joe Dispenza. And if you go and see him on YouTube, he's a physician, he's a medical doctor, and he explains these mind and stress matters and how they medically affect you and how they reduce your immunity. So he actually proves that if you go in the path of stress and then passiveness, your chances of getting corona is actually more, 50% more than anybody else. So he actually explains that how can you protect your immunity and protect yourself from this pandemic by actually going into the change and the positive stream. I just want to emphasize one more thing, that يعني أبشركم أن people that are waiting for COVID-19 to finish or this pandemic to be over, let me just remind you a few things. That the economy is going downhill. Oil prices are going into the negatives. Unemployment is going to increase day by day. They're even talking of wave 2. You've heard of people are predicting wave 2, when Corona will come back in 12 months. Some say stronger than now. When that happens. So it's not that we're going from COVID-19 to Jannatullah al-Ard. Heaven is not going to be here after COVID-19. We're going to probably be facing a lot of more issues. So the people that don't change and don't adapt to this, whether it's businesses, whether it's governments, or whether it's individuals and families, if you don't change and you're expecting to go back to your normal life, the world, by any standard, is not going to be the same. Bahrain's not going to be the same. The way business is being done is not going to be the same. The way governments work, the way people think, the way schools work, none of it is going to be the same. So if you're expecting not to change for this pandemic to go, and then you go back to your normal life, بين قوسين normal life, your normal life is not going to be in the same environment. So getting over this stress and focusing on the change and adaptation is, I think, the most important word out of all the words that I'm going to use. Can we please go to the next slide?
And we do have a comment from Mr. Ahmed Al-Sakran, who's saying, at this time, we do have time to elaborate on your choices as an opportunity, doctor. This will reduce stress for everyone, right?
Absolutely. Very well put.
So this brings us to the last word on this slide, which is opportunity.
The opportunity, of course, we really have never had anything like this. We've never seen anything like this. We saw a glimpse of it in Oman when we had, I don't know if any of you remember, we had the tornado and the hurricane Guno in Oman in 2006, and Muscat was almost flattened. The cooperation and the generosity and the opportunity that it created for people to be together and help each other was on a hurricane scale. Now we're seeing opportunities of assistance, opportunities of giving back to the society, opportunities, and this will not be repeated. In this situation and scenario, it will not be repeated. It might be repeated in other forms, but the way and the type of opportunity we have now. I mean, look around you. I'm sure it's exactly the same. كرم وضيافة ومساعدة أهل البحرين معروفة يعني من زمان. In Oman, what we have is we've had people donating buses, donating cars, donating almost every single hotel was given to the people that are in quarantine, meals paid for. We've had people giving up their time and helping with some organizations. The way the army, the police are cooperating with the medics, يعني it's a kind of assistance and opportunity to help each other that we've never seen before. So the word opportunity is actually something positive that should arise out of a negative situation. The next one, I'm just conscious of time as well. When we talk about during, when we talk about during, which is basically the period now, we talk about adapting. So the people that really will survive and look at it positively is people that adapt to the situation. We hear the word bored and discomfort, and we miss things. And if you think about it, everything that we are not doing anymore, that has been taken away from us, is actually a blessing. يعني, I hardly ever talk about religious things, but even think about it. Even at a religious level, your conversation, instead of going to the mosque and wanting to be seen and people making you accountable, now your conversation, salatek, du'aak, whatever it is, it's between you and God without a third party. Even that by itself has become a blessing. We actually do things without the need to show off or be seen in a certain place doing certain things. So these are the words, and discomfort and bored, our kids use it. And if we change the mindset in the house environment, in the area that we have control over, the words bored and discomfort, although they are not seeing their friends or family as such, is not going to be existent. Can we move to the next few words? I think the next one's limit. And this basically takes us to a kind of a conflict. And this conflict probably exists in every single house. It's a conflict between complaints and will and imagination. So whichever one wins really determines if you're moving towards that positive attitude with the circumstances you have, or are you moving into the negative? Because complaints are those that are bored and at discomfort and missing things. And adaptive people are actually working on their will and imagination. And you just have to look at social media of how people are entertaining themselves. People are doing things around the house that were left for years undone. And I'm sure this in every single house, it's happening. People are being creative. I have neighbors that are creating waterfalls and fountains out of nothing in their garden. They're just building it and working on it. So it's basically, are you willing to give up to your complaints, or are you going to work on your will and imagination? The next thing is basically limitations. And we as humans, because we live in our comfort zone, and our comfort zone alhamdulillah, has been taken away from us because of COVID-19. Because we live in our comfort zones and because we live in our own cocoons, we believe in our limitations. We believe that we cannot do that. We cannot survive this. And once we think beyond our limitations, we will see opportunities. Because in reality, God created us without limits. Each one of us has endless opportunities to work on. So the limitations that we put are actually limitations that we created because we were in our comfort zones. We didn't have to think outside the box. We didn't have to connect. We didn't have to do any of the things that we're doing now. So in reality, getting over our limitations, this is the perfect opportunity. Everything is in place. We're forced to stay at home. We're forced not to go to the office. We have more time, even though personally, I put an alarm and I'm at my desk from 7:30 to 2:30. دوام حكومي يعني ما I don't go outside that. But still, we still have time. I used to waste an hour going, an hour and a half coming in traffic. I have that time. So whatever we do, if we don't do it and we don't achieve things, it's because we're sticking to our limitations. So now it's the opportunity. Take that chance, take that opportunity, because now is the time. The next one, I think I'm gonna just point out to conscious. Basically, when we think about, if you look at presentations by Dr. Joe Dispenza, he talks about how you can go beyond your conscious, because going beyond your conscious, you'll be thinking, really thinking outside the box, really thinking that beyond your limitations. And he talks about how once you go beyond your conscious thinking, you actually see less challenges. So everything that you feel is a challenge in your life now actually goes away and becomes much smaller and much less. And as a result, you have to put less effort in doing things. And finally, you get stronger. So basically, once you are willing to put away your limitations, think above your consciousness, you actually go into less challenge, less effort, and becoming a stronger person. The next one is change. And I think the next word is change. And I think one of the things that's it's very difficult for people to adapt during COVID-19 is actually the fact that they have to change. And most people that are suffering now, I'm not talking about medically, بعيد الشر والله يحفظ الجميع. I'm talking mentally. Most of the people are waiting for that outside change. Whereas the change that comes from outside, it's beyond your control, and just sit there and wait. Whereas the changes that we can control, that's changes within us, is what's going to make life during COVID-19 actually a blessing, if nothing else. And I think the next one is unity. Unity and unification, we have hardly seen this. Corona proved that we don't have to see each other to feel for each other and care for each other. We see that at the level of governments helping each other. We see that at the level of society. Our medics, doctors, nurses, and medical staff are in the forefront of this. There were so many doctors training in England and France, and I'm sure Bahrain has a similar thing. They were actually on internships. And when this happened, they had the opportunity to come back, but they decided to serve the organizations, the hospitals that actually taught them something. So they're actually facing COVID-19 in France and England, which is, I think, 1,000 or 10,000 times worse than what's happening in Oman. So helping people, the financial things that we see, the financial input that we see people are doing, and the unity that we see people are in has actually not seen before. It created unity within the world. The world is actually thinking about the same thing, putting away differences, putting away wars. No war is really happening now. If you think about it, I think at any one time there's 147, something along those lines, wars, active wars in the world. None of them are there now. Everything is at a stop. People are actually at peace because of COVID-19. I think motivation. Motivation is one of those words that really helped us during COVID-19, because motivation that came from within us is the thing that lasted. And every one of us that was waiting for that motivation of a boss or of a friend or of an organization and now doesn't have it, realizes what books and theories have been saying for years, that motivation from outside, it's not lasting and it's not strong. Now is the time to work on our motivation from within. And if we do that, we would realize that it's a continuous thing. It's not going to stop because of COVID or any other disaster. What are the types of motivations that I can motivate myself to go forward and continue now? The love I have for Oman, the love I have for humanity, the love I have for the people of the world, the love I have for my neighbors. These dedications and love that we have, these are enough for me to think, right now I need to give back to my country more than ever. It could be my principles, it could be my ethics, anything. There's no right and wrong. Choose anything you like, but let that motivation come from within you. Samira, I'm conscious of time, so I'm going to go a little bit faster and move into the final stage. I think the first word is, by the way, this is not a sebla or any coffee shop. This is part of the ministry, different corners of the ministry. That's another story, maybe for another time. The first word is actually focus. So when we are at a stage preparing ourselves for the end of Corona, one of the main things that we should focus on is life beyond Corona. Because if our focus is getting back into what we used to do, that's very unfortunate. Yani that's actually stepping back in time. One of the things, and I think these are the questions that if we put for ourselves and we hang it on our mirror for the next few weeks, we should really focus on them. Things like, I put down a few. What are the most important things in my life? I mean, this question would have definitely changed if I asked you this question before Corona or after Corona, or at this stage. There'll be different answers. So what are the most important things in your life now? What are you anticipating? What are you waiting for? How am I going to react to these challenges and opportunities? And I'll just give you a quick example of what we used to do with a frame example. You see this frame behind me. What happens is, usually when we have different things, I'm talking about life before Corona. Whatever happened in our life, we had a frame, this black frame that you see. This was the frame of my life. I changed things, this was my frame. Whatever came into my life and whatever I wanted to do, and I wanted to do new things, old things, connect with family, friends, society, work, anything I wanted to do, I usually pushed it within that frame. So sometimes the picture is a triangle. It wouldn't fit there properly. I used to throw it away. Something was smaller. Something was too big for my limited life. So I didn't do it. I didn't even bother exploring it. What we should do, and this is the best stage to focus on, is change our frame and change our picture. we always, because it was the easy way out, we always changed the pictures of our frames. Let us now change the frame, make it bigger, smaller, change the shape of it, do whatever you like. The other thing was basically the requirements. And I think one of the major requirements is to change fear to gratitude or anger to gratitude. So these things that we're doing now, whatever it is, whatever anger or upsetness or disappointments that we have, because if we do that, we would actually increase our levels of energy ultimately. If you change your fear to gratitude, to love, you're actually building your the strength of your body. You're increasing your energy instead of being drained. Negativity drains you, positivity gives you. So these are the things. And there's one more thing. If we don't change, if any of us or anybody we know has not changed their lifestyle, had not changed the fundamental principles of their life, the way they work, the way they live, the way they react, if they haven't changed it during this period, then they will go back to their old self. هذا واضح. They will, you haven't changed. It's the same you will go back to your old self. But one thing will surprise them, that the world isn't the same. So they're not going back to somewhere that was the same, exactly what we mentioned before. So they're going to get the shock of their life. They're actually not going to be able to adapt. They're going to be disappointed even more than they are now. I think we have 2 more words and then I'm done. The next one's recovering. And if you think about it, the earth, طبيعة, nature, actually recovered very well. You see all the reports of the seas, the rivers, Venice, we've seen all the videos, the smog and the pollution in the big cities. The earth is recovering itself fantastically. And even we feel it with us, because one of the places that's totally closed, I mean, in Oman, everything is closed. I mean, we don't have anything except a few supermarkets open. Even our beaches are closed. So even the beaches, you feel and see and hear sounds of the birds that were not there because there were too many humans on the beaches. So the recovery phase, this is the best time. And the question is, are we changing? What are we recovering in our lives? Is it our health? We didn't have the time to exercise, we're exercising. We didn't have the time to eat well because we were on the go. Are we eating better? Anything, connections, life, relationships. And the last one, because I think I'm conscious of, is the final stage is the fast track. Basically, if you look at it, the same speed that COVID-19 started, it's going to finish, it's going to end, and we're going to go back to society again, or sort of how we used to live. But if you think about it, one of the blessings of COVID-19 was fast tracking. Think about it. I'll give you examples of Oman. For 50 years, the government has been trying to encourage agriculture. وencourage المواطنين إنهم يشتروا المنتجات المحلية. And when you have cucumbers, when you have bananas, and alhamdulillah in Oman, we have everything. Buy the local products. Because of COVID-19, you cannot imagine the number of farms that are working overtime, selling all their products, delivering to doors, working on apps, things that for 50 years the country was not willing to do. If you think about digitalization, we were trying to encourage government entities to use digitalization and remote working for now, I think 5 years, 4.5, 5 years. Within 2 weeks, every government entity is working remotely. We even have villages. There's a village called Sama'il, a few hundred kilometers from Muscat. A group of young people developed an app about the shops, والبقال, in Sama'il for the people that live there so they don't leave their house and they can order online. And network has reached places that were still having issues with it. So everything got so fast-tracked in this period. And there's so many, I've written so many different examples. But the question is, are we going to move along this? Are we going to build on this? In the ministry, for example, in our ministry, we're already talking about, even when it's COVID-19 is over, how can we have some of our employees rotate with such good productivity, still continue working from home? Maybe shifts, maybe you need to go to work twice a week, 3 times a week. How can we reduce our meetings and not have to move between offices and just have Zoom meetings? So many things, so many opportunities are there. I know you guys said 45 minutes. I've already gone 49 minutes. So I think that's it. Samira, do I have anything else? والله ما أتذكر.
ولا يا سر احنا حاطين الويبينار for 1 hour and 30 minutes وحطينا مجال لأن أدري إن في ناس بيسألونك. كان قاعدة أكتب الكابشنز وما أدري ليش كتبت هذا الكابشن. النعمان عندهم خيار وموز وعندهم تطبيق للبقالات في سمائل. احنا نطالب انه يكون عندنا خيار وموز وتطبيق للبقالات في منطقتنا.
تعرفي احنا my daughter works for FAO, for the Food and Agricultural Organization of the United Nations. وطبعا مكتبهم في السلطنة لهم علاقة مع وزارة الزراعة. And she got these apps. You cannot believe that when they deliver a box from these farms, which are, you have organic choice and non-organic choice, and the boxes have everything. I mean, you can any vegetable and fruit, or almost any vegetable and fruit you can imagine comes now from Jabal al-Akhdar and other farms, and it's being delivered to your front door. Things we never got. We were sticking to the supermarket imported foods.
ما شاء الله ما شاء الله. جبل بعد بس يعني اوكي ما عليه دكتور اوكي ما عليه. Thank you sir. Thank you doctor for all your insights. I would say they were kind of inspiring. It brought us back and it grounded us in the current moment. What I'll do now is I'll open the window for our participants. And عندي هني أستاذة Mohajer, she raised her hand. أستاذة Mohajer, I would allow you to talk. You may talk directly now and unmute yourself, please.
مسموع صوتي؟
اي نعم. اي نعم استاذتنا نسمع صوتك. تفضلي يبا.
شكرا دكتور رامين.
ان شاء الله بالخير.
اهلا وسهلا بك.
سعيد جدا برؤيتك. الله يسلمك. الله يسلمك.
صراحة يعني محاضرة قيمة. أنا بس بسرعة أرجع لموضوع القلق والخوف اللي تفضلت فيه في البداية. حقيقة أن القلق والخوف كان كبير في البداية مثل ما تفضلت، لكن بسبب القرارات الحكومية والشفافية اللي كانت عند حكوماتنا سواء في البحرين أو في عمان ودول الخليج عموماً، والقرارات الحاسمة اللي صارت للأمن وتوفر مستلزمات الحياة، ساهم بشكل كبير في تقليل القلق والخوف لأنه كان في شفافية في المعلومات. الآن اللي عندنا أنا أعتقد طبعاً مثل ما تفضلت أن العالم بعد كورونا ما راح يكون مثل قبل كورونا. في أشياء كثيرة راح تحدث سواء على يعني بشكل إيجابي أو بشكل سلبي، وحضرتك يعني ذكرت الكثير من هذه النقاط ما أعيدها. الآن أصبح القلق عالمي، يعني إحنا خايفين مما سوف يحدث في العالم من ناحية قلة الأمن بين الدول وربما حروب، وأيضاً من الناحية الاقتصادية. يعني يصورون لنا اللي يتكلمون عن المستقبل أن هناك كارثة اقتصادية راح تحدث، وما سوف يحدث في أمريكا أو في أوروبا أكيد بينعكس علينا وعلى حياتنا وقلة توفر الأعمال بالنسبة للناس يعني. فكيف تشوف دكتور هالنظرة؟ هل احنا متشائمين أكثر من اللازم أو إن احنا واقعيين؟ يعني بالفعل الحين على المستوى المحلي ما عندنا خوف ولا قلق، لكن عندنا تأثيرات كوفيد 19 علينا يعني من العالم. شكرا لك دكتور.
شكرا أستاذة. أنا أعتقد أولا أن في العالم هناك قوتين. أعتقد في قوة هدامة وبناءة. اللي جالس يحصل الحين في مواجهة أزمة كورونا أو كوفيد 19 شيء اللي جالس يحصل بناء، لأن كل شيء إيجابي صار إن من ناحية التكنولوجيا، من ناحية التعاون، خذي أي شيء كان إيجابي اللي صار. الحين من ناحية ثانية لأسباب مرتبطة بالطمع وعدم وجود عدالة وعدم وجود مساواة اجتماعية، هذه الأشياء هناك مشاكل من ناحية الاقتصاد ومن ناحية العمل ومن ناحية الأشياء الثانية اللي نسمعها في الأخبار. هل إحنا متشائمين أو هل إحنا متفائلين؟ هذا يرجع لنا إحنا. أنا شخصياً أرفض أني أكون متشائم، لأن القوتين هذيلا أنا شخصياً حياتي لازم تمشي بطريقة معينة. إنزين، اللي جالس يحصل على مستوى أكبر مني، على مستوى العالم، هذا جالس يحصل. أنا متشائم، أنا أصلاً موجود ما موجود، نايم صاحي، متشائم متفائل، هذه الأشياء قاسة تحصل. أنا على هذا المستوى الصغير في المجتمع إيش دوري؟ دوري أني أكون متفائل عشان أقدر أعطي، عشان أقدر أصلح وأخلي كل الكلمات اللي ذكرناها تكون إيجابية، لها معنى وطابع وانطباع إيجابي. هذا الشيء بيدي أنا أرفض أكون متشائم شخصيا. إن شاء الله يعني إحنا فكروا قبل شهر، قبل شهرين، إحنا عايشين في منطقة كلها مشاكل من شمالنا وجنوبنا وإلى آخره، لكن لله الحمد كشعب إحنا كنا متفائلين دائما وقدرنا نسيطر، على الأقل قدرنا أن نجيب الإيجابية في حياتنا. فأنا أعتقد الأشياء اللي ما بيدنا راح تصير، بغض النظر عن إحساسنا وانطباعنا وعملنا، لكن الأشياء الصغيرة بيدنا، بيدي وبيدك وبيد باقي الإخوان. إذا التفاؤل هنا ضروري، ولو كنا متشائمين عاد حتى الأشياء الصغيرة ما راح نسويها. فما أعرف، هذا يمكن تفكير الشخصي، هذا ما له علاقة
شكرا دكتور. انت هني اللي عجبني في اللي قلته ان احنا we have the control، الكنترول في يدنا احنا. we try to manage our attitude and thoughts. عندي هني استاذ احمد السكران يبي يتداخل. استاذ احمد انا سويت لك enabling to talk. sir you can open your microphone.
مساك الله بالخير دكتور رامين.
الله بالنور والسرور.
كيف حالك؟ شلونك؟ طيب؟
خير وعافية، الله يسلمك. كيف حالكم انتم؟ طيبين؟
الله يسلمك. دكتور رامين، طبعا what's your choice من ناحية الكلمات اللي ذكرت من stress و opportunity و crisis؟ what's your take on the pandemic الموجودة؟
الكلمات هذه في الحقيقة احنا عملنا نوع من السيرفي على مستوى موظفينا، على عدد لا بأس، وبغينا نفهم السايكولوجي. بنفس الوقت طلبنا ردة الفعل ما بس من عندهم، من عند عوائلهم أيضا. فهذا نوع ما أعطانا انطباع المجتمع. وهذه الكلمات بالفعل كانت متشابهة بين كل واحد، يعني حتى أنا والناس اللي في بيتي نفس الكلمات كانت تضايقنا، ما كنا عارفين نفكر من ناحية إيجابية فيها أو ناحية سلبية إلى آخره. فthe words are taken from I would say واقع المجتمع أو واقع حياتنا في الفترة أو الأزمة هذه. بس أحس إن هذا ما سؤالك، عندك سؤال؟
لا، أنا سؤالي اختيارك شنو من هالكلمات دكتور؟ شنو اختيارك أنت؟ شو تشوف الوضع الحالي؟ crisis, opportunity, pandemic.
I would definitely شوف أنا حتى قبل كوفيد I always I like to be positive and I try to be positive. فكل الكلمات هذه I think COVID-19 للأسف يعني كل شيء، شوف كل شيء في الحياة ما في شيء إيجابي 100%. COVID-19 brought with it economical crisis, brought with it للأسف الشديد عدد كبير جدا، والعدد راح يزيد بشكل خيالي في الأسابيع القادمة بالنسبة للناس اللي خسروا حياتهم. هذه الأشياء موجودة. But looking at the bigger picture، لما نفكر في الوضع بشكل أكبر، لما نشوفه على macro level، أنا I definitely see it as an opportunity. I definitely see it as something that it's an opportunity, it's development. I think one of the most beautiful things that I think, fast tracking. Things you cannot believe it. I have a list of 3 pages. Things that were on hold. بعطيك مثال. احنا عندنا في عمان صندوق العماني للتكنولوجيا. هذا الصندوق مساكين، صندوق يعني برنامج حكومي، صار لهم سنين باغين يشتغلوا and they have the funds and they have the money، لكن بعض البيروقراطيات واقفة في طريقهم and they couldn't really blossom, they couldn't really create something. Within the past 4 weeks they created drones that صناعة عمانية، drones that actually fly over especially the areas with الوافدين والعمان and they measure temperatures from height. Anybody, they have facial recognitions. They're building it now and they are actually exporting it. Their batches ready for export. هذا الشيء والله لو جلسنا بعد 5 سنوات ما كان يصير. It's opportunity, it's fast tracking in a lot of things. Agriculture, health، بعض الصناعات، تفكير الناس، تكنولوجيا، أولادنا ومدارس يا ما كانوا يضيعوا وقت. الحين حتى نفسيا مرتاحين. طبعا they miss their friends and they miss this and that، بس هم في أمان أكثر وجالسين يتعلموا نفس الأشياء. I personally see it as a blessing، نعمة من رب العالمين، نعمة فيها مطبات بس نعمة.
صحيح دكتور. اليوم الواحد البلاتفورمز اللي موجودين العيز من الشخص نفسه إذا ما يبي يتعلم، لأن معظم البلاتفورمز نزلوهم lots of free webinars and courses. You're right. أستاذ أحمد، هل الدكتور جاوب على سؤالك؟
إيه نعم، كفيت ووفيت يا دكتور. يعطيك ألف عافية ونشوفك إن شاء الله في البحرين عما قريب.
الله يعزك أخ أحمد، الله يعزك. إحنا الأسبوع الماضي، فقط الأسبوع الماضي حصلنا على كورسات ببلاش، طبعا أنتم أدرى، حصلنا على برامج ببلاش من هارفارد وستانفورد وأكسفورد وكامبريدج وMIT وييل. عاد إيش تريد بعد؟
أنا ما أعرف شنو أكتب في الكابشن صراحة. أنا ما أعرف شنو أكتب في الكابشن الحين. عمان is getting lucky.
لا والله we have free courses and people are already enrolled. Certificates,
ما شاء الله.
webinars, even degrees are being offered at these international universities for free. يعني what else do we want؟ وفرنا الآلاف والآلاف، نطرش ناس يحصلوا الأشياء أونلاين.
You're right sir. You're right. احنا عندنا سؤال وعندنا مداخلة من أستاذ منير. بس أنا باخذ السؤال من الأستاذة سارة عابدين. أستاذة سارة يبك لايف ويانا، خلنا أعطيك أنا permission to talk. Okay. أستاذة سارة, you may unmute yourself. Miss سارة, أو here you go.
مرحبا ويعطيكم العافية.
يا هلا
الله يعافيك.
استفساري بس بسيط بالنسبة حق changing the priorities في حياتنا. طبعا with the current situation والchallenges اللي الكل قاعد يواجهها، يعني الغالبية العظمى رجعت مرة ثانية وقاعدة تشوف البلانز اللي حطتها حق هاي السنة والسنوات الجاية والpriorities يعني in our lives. changing هاي الpriorities هل is it something wise to do it في هاي الفترة، خصوصا ان هاي الفترة نوعا ما بتكون فترة مؤقتة، فعلا بيكون في تغييرات على يعني اللونج تيرم، بس هل هي مسألة ترايل اند ايرور ولا يفضل ان يعني نغير بعض الاشياء اللي 100% we are sure انه عقب ما نغيرها بتستمر after this challenging period. ويعطيكم العافية. Thank you.
أنا أعتقد life is trial and error. يعني ما في شيء إحنا أشياء نسويها 20 سنة بعدين نكتشف إن المفروض نسويها بطريقة ثانية. بس I think now is the time. ما ننتظر بعدين. لأن what is the deadline؟ أنا عندي حد من الشياب الأسبوع الماضي يسألني، أقول لك رامين كوفيد متى الفيروسات هذه متى بتمشي؟ قلت له والله أعتقد يوم الثلاثاء القادم الساعة 9 الصباح تقريبا بيتوكل. ايش ترانا متى؟ يعني هذه الأشياء ما نعرفها. we don't know. we wait for what. ترى اللي كانوا يخمنوا إنه أسبوعين وكل شيء بيخلص الحين صار لهم 5 أسابيع وقاسين يجددوا. تتذكروا الدول قالوا 4 weeks 4 weeks 5 weeks، الحين كلهم قاسين يجددوا. we don't know when it's going to end. I'll give you an example. إحنا شغالين على تقريبا 14 بروجرام مع الوزارة على أساس to keep the motivation, learning and development going. واحدة من الأشياء we started قبل 3 أيام the 50-day challenge. 50-day challenge is every day I send them a PowerPoint of a few slides about a concept. They have to take their intake from that concept and put one aim for that day and tell us what they have achieved. So imagine you would have changed, you would have worked on 50 concepts. ممكن يكون حياتك الشخصية، حياتك العملية، حياتك الاجتماعية، حياتك العائلية، whatever. But one thing needs to change. That's one way of doing it. We don't wait. وبعدين we will fine tune it. Life is about fine tuning. ما حد قال نعق الخطط اللي سويناها والله يعزكم في الزبالة ونخطط من جديد. Let's fine tune. Let's change things. Let's think about the time I used to spend in X, Y, and Z. With this, I know I can save that. So fine tuning, it's a continuous development. لأن as humans, we are organic. We're not inorganic. We're not something made and we have to fix it. We are changing and developing continuously.
Yeah, absolutely right, Doctor. And also we are goal-oriented creatures. Mrs. Sarah Abdin, thank you so much for giving us your comments. Ustad Munir Muhammad, but I will allow you to talk, Ustadna, or you may unmute yourself, sir.
الو
اهلا
الو
اهلا وسهلا.
هل اسمعني الدكتور؟
نعم حياك اخ منير.
مساك الله بالخير دكتور.
الله بالنور والسرور.
حي الله العمون ودكتور ما قصرت، كفيت وفيت.
الله يسلمك
دكتور انا اشكرك في البدايه على المعلومات القيمه، فعلا قيمه، واتمنى ان احصل ريكورد من الجميع ان شاء الله. ملاحظتي هو التغيير صعب دكتور، يعني احنا شلون نتقبل، احنا كدول بسيطه ومتواضعه شلون نتقبل التغيير؟ اقتصادنا ضعيف، وضعنا ضعيف، يعني مهما كنا احنا نقول احنا اقوياء واحنا يعني مو خايفين، بس الوضع صعب. شلون ممكن نواجه التغيير الجاي احنا نقول لازم تقبل التغيير، expecting التغيير. شلون دكتور يعني بكلمتين بس، ورحم الله والديك مشكور.
التغيير صعب، التغيير بطيء، التغيير واجد اشياء ما سهله، بس اعتقد هذا الحل الوحيد. يعني التغيير والتأقلم مع الوضع والتأقلم مع التغييرات، أي التغيير، ما عندنا حل ثاني. وهذا التغيير الشيء الوحيد اللي بيعطينا أمل، بيعطينا هدف، بيعطينا إيجابية، بيعطينا أشياء نقدر نغيرها إلى الأحسن. وما حد يتوقع أن نكون يعني ترى إحنا كلنا عايشين مثل قصة الشخصين اللي كانوا عايشين أو مسجونين في قلعة. شخصين كانوا في نفس الفترة لنفس الغرض لنفس الذنب، كانوا مسجونين. بعد فترة طلعوهم، واحد فرحان مستانس وعقليته في مكانه وقدر يكمل حياته. الثاني كان خلاص يعني ما قادر يستوعب شيء وما يفيد المجتمع ولا نفسه. ليش؟ لأن طول نفس الفترة الشخص الإيجابي اللي كان يخطط ويفكر في التغيير اللي يقدر يسويه لما يطلع كان يشوف من النافذة الفوق الجدار أو قسم الأعلى من الجدار، فكان يشوف غيوم، كان يشوف السماء، كان يشوف الطيور، ويحلم ويخطط ويقول أنا بتغير بسوي كذا. هذاك الثاني كان يائس وجالس على الأرض ويشوف الله يعزك المياه الجارية والفيران اللي رايحة جاية، وهذا الاكتئاب وهذا الغم اللي ضربه خلال الفترة ما قدر يغير. فأعتقد التغيير هذا جزء من حياتنا وشيء لابد منه، حتى لو التأثير بسيط، حتى لو التأثير بسيط. والكمال لله، احنا لا نتوقع الكمال ولا ننتظر الكمال، الكمال لله.
شكرا دكتورنا، وشكرا ابو محمد على المداخله. برد ارجع حق البارتيسيبنتس اللي موجودين وفي الشات بوكس وفي الكويستشنز، اذا احد عنده اي سؤال. اي استاذ فيصل العصفور، استاذ فيصل العصفور اعطيتك انا الله وصوره بعد ممتازه صراحه استاذ فيصل، تينن. فسو انميوت حق روحك. سو انميوت حق روحك استاذنا and go ahead.
الله يعطيكم العافيه دكتور، شلونكم؟
الله يسلمك اخوي، الله يسلمك.
سميرة شلونك؟
زين الحمد لله.
والله دكتور عندي بس مداخله، مو يعني سؤال بس، مداخله سريعه. لان عندنا اهتمام اذا تتذكر من السنه اللي طافت في يوم اللي كنا موجودين في البوسنه في الديجيتال ترانسفورميشن، فنلاحظ ان الكوفيد 19 اعطى the biggest push ever حق الديجيتال ترانسفورميشن بالنسبه لاغلب المؤسسات الموجوده في البحرين. الان اذا تشوف بالنسبه لنا على الاقل حق تجربتنا في البحرين، اغلب الميتينجز اللي عندنا في البزنس كلها تمت. احنا مثلا ديلرز حق شركه نيسان وفورد وكذي، اول كانوا يجبرونا لازم نروح دبي. الحين كل الميتينجز قاعده تصير ريموتلي نفس ما احنا دائما كنا نقول. تعليم الاطفال قاعد يصير كله في البيت. المحلات التجاريه الموجوده كلها عندها تقريبا منصات الكترونيه، اذا ما كان عندها على الاقل عندها ترويج في السوشيال ميديا. فاللي انا اغلب الشيء يعني حتى لما يكون عندنا نقاش مع المدراء، احنا دائما نقول لهم ان it's the time for change ولا القطار بيطوفنا. يعني we can't wait right now and think okay when corona goes back نفس ما تفضلت مساء ان احنا نرجع لعوايدنا القديمه. هذه مرحله تغيير، هذه مرحله احنا نتعلم منها اشياء جديده. يعني صدفه انا كاتش ار انصدمت صدمه كبيره جدا ان اكثر من 50% من الموظفين اللي نوظفهم they can actually do الشغل كامل من البيت. They don't have to be there. An accountant can do the job من البيت. recruitment specialist يسوي الشغل من البيت. learning development, البيرول. You can imagine. يعني هذه الوظائف كلها ممكن تصير من البيت. فاحنا يمكن الحين في الوقت الحالي بالنسبه للديجيتال ترانسفورميشن انحطينا في موقف ان if we don't change and if we don't adapt القوي بس هو اللي يقدر يروح. يعني على قولتنا الحين انتهاز الفرص والسرفايف في هذا الماركت. وديفنتلي يس في بعض الشركات يمكن تحتاج تبند، يمكن في بعض الشركات ما تقدر تواصل، ولكن حبيت ان انا اشارككم بمداخلتي، ومشكورين الاخوه الكرام على الارينجمنت في الجمعيه ما شاء الله عليها دائما سباقه في هذه الامور، ونتمنى مثل هذه السيشنز تتكرر ان شاء الله، ومشكورين.
شكرا استاذ فيصل. ثانك يو سو ماتش، سبيشلي انه هو فيري كريتيكال حق الرول اللي انت حاليا ماسكه في الشركه. تفضل دكتورنا.
بس اضيف على كلامك اخ فيصل، احنا يعني ما تتصور ان في الوزاره 5 أسابيع ما حد دخل الوزاره، 5 أسابيع. بالعكس شغلنا والمسؤوليات اللي جايه من مولانا صاحب الجلاله ومجلس الوزراء الموقره بالنسبه لشغلنا زاد، يعني التاسكس اللي محولين لنا صارت اكثر. ولا واحد منا دش الوزاره، ولا واحد منا دخل الوزاره، وجالسين وشوف الاوضاع بعض الاوقات تجبر. احنا سنين سكايب وزوم كانت مسكره عندنا. اول يوم يعني من 5 أسابيع اول ما بدات الازمه، هي تنظيم الاتصالات ما قصروا، فتحوها، وبالعكس شجعوا الناس انكم لا تروحوا الدوام، جلسوا في البيت واستخدموا الاشياء هذه. فتشوف ان الاحتياجات والمتطلبات ودور الناس، يعني الكل لو جالس يمشي بنفس مثل ما تفضلت على نفس السكه وفي نفس القطار، راح نوصل الى بر الامان بدون شك.
Yeah, you're right, sir. بالذات ان احنا نقول the only constant thing in this life is change actually. شكرا استاذ فيصل. نروح حق دكتوره نجاة. دكتوره نجاة دكتورتنا العزيزه موجوده، وهي دائما عندها انترست عالي في التنميه المستدامه والاهداف الاقتصاديه، الاقتصاد المستدام. فدكتورتنا انا بفتح لك المايك وسوي انميوت حق روحك وتفضلي يبا.
السلام عليكم.
عليكم السلام.
تسمعوني؟
اي نعم نسمعك دكتورتنا، تفضلي.
الله يحفظكم. مشكور دكتور، الله يعطيك العافيه ويحفظ السلطنه، لان عيالنا كلها عندكم يدرسون عندكم. مشكوره اختي سميره، مشكور للجمعيه. دكتوره، يعني انا عندي اهتمام دائما في خلق المجتمع المستدام، وهذه كلمه نعرفها هنا عندنا في البحرين. اللي قلته صح، ان الحين وقت التغيير، صح. الحين عندنا التكنولوجي ترانسفير از امبورتنت، بس احنا يعني انا كمستشاره اشتغل مع الامم المتحده، نحتاج نطالع a wider perspective. حلو تغيير من الداخل، بس نحتاج شويه تكون الرؤيه شويه عندنا اوسع، النظرة تكون شمولية، لأن مثل ما شفنا يعني الحكي مثل ما يقولون لا هو سر ولا ما حد يدري عنه، إن بسبب الأزمة يعني بينت لنا إن وايد أقنعة طاحت من اللي كنا نسميهم يوم من الأيام الدول الديمقراطية، دول حقوق الإنسان، دول اللي كانوا يزعم إنهم اللي يعني يدعون إنهم يحافظون على حقوق الأقليات والتنمية المستدامة والأهداف هذه. ولذلك أنا رؤيتي أنا يعني وجهة نظري، إحنا كدول مجلس تعاون أو الدول الخليجية أو الدول اللي تعتبر دول نامية، مهم جدا مثل ما تفضلت إن الحين وقت التغيير، بس التغيير إنه يكون عندنا نعتمد على نفسنا، بحيث إنه يكون عندنا مجتمع مستدام، نخلق فرصنا بنفسنا. يعني صناعاتنا لازم تكون يعني نوعا ما تكون مستدامة، تكون داخلية حتى لو كانت بسيطة. الزراعة يجب يعني كل الدول اللي يوم من الأيام الدولة العظمى اللي في العالم اللي حاربتها قدرت توقف على ريلها، أول شيء بسبب الزراعة. مثال حوالينا وايد في منطقتنا، ومثلا كوبا ولا أي دول اللي حوالينا. فهذه النقطة جدا جدا مهمة، أن المجتمع المستدام يجب أن يخلق، فرص العمل يجب أن تخلق، وأيضا أن أصحاب القرار لازم يعرفون ان الاعتماد على الاخر او غير المواطن هذه يسبب هذه الزوبعه اللي احنا فيها او هذه الفوضى اللي احنا فيها. فيا ريت بس تعطينا وجهه نظرك في الموضوع، ان كيف يعني انا ادري ان عندنا يعني عندنا هالايام على طول مع يونايتد نيشن مثل ما قلت ان عندنا اجتماعات كلها اونلاين، بس في نظرتك انت شنو توجهاتكم انتم في السلطنه اللي يمكن عندكم تجارب ممكن تكون ناجحه، ان كيف خلق المجتمع المستدام؟ لان عندنا نقطه بعد دكتور مسامحه بس بطول عليكم، احنا هني اوكي الناس ابتدوا يعني يكون عندهم نوع ما من الوعي ان مثلا شلون يتعاملون مع الكوفيد 19. يعني مثلا مثال جدا بسيط، قاموا يسوون هذه الكمامات التبرع ذي، لكن قاعد يسوون دمج ثاني. اللي انا قاعده احاول اني اتواصل مع اكثر الناس اللي قادره اوصل لهم، ترى انتم ايش قاعدين تسوون؟ الكمامات اللي قاعدين تسوونها وايد زينه، اتس ريوزبل، لكن كلها قاعدين تحطونها في بلاستيك. كل واحد ياخذ بس يطلع من البلاستيك you are damaging the environment the earth what are you doing. فنحتاج نوع من الوعي، نحتاج نوع من الادراك ان achieving one goal doesn't mean that you need to forget the other goals. واشكركم واسمحوا لي على الاطاله.
شكرا دكتورة نجاة، شكرا على المداخلة. وفعلا يعني we cannot cover mistakes or pitfalls or shortcomings with other shortcomings. دكتور نتفضل.
دكتورة أولا شكرا. بس أنا واحد صغير فقير مسكين جالس في عمان، أنت دخلتينا في هيئة الأمم ومستوى العالم، لكن بعطيش رأيي المتواضع الشخصي. كلامك طبعا 100% صح ولا غبار عليه، واللي جالس يحصل في السلطنة أن الحين حتى على موضوع الكمامات، احنا أعتقد 3 أيام كانت عندنا أزمة كمامات فقط. عملنا مصنع بجهود وطنية بجهود عمانية، عملنا مصنع والحين الكباسيتي مال الكمامات 20,000 كمام في اليوم. بدينا نصدر، يعني اكتفينا داخليا وبدينا نصدر. فالجهود هذه المفروض تكون مبنية على الكوادر الوطنية. طبعا أعتقد ديموغرافيكلي السكان في البحرين نسبة المواطنين والوافدين تقريبا شبيهة بالسلطنة. احنا الحين طبعا اكتشفنا ان في قطاعات نامية ممكن المواطنين كانوا يشتغلوا فيها، لكن كانوا رافضين مهمشين، مثل الزراعة. والزراعة في عمان احنا عندنا الزراعة والأسماك، عندنا أكبر شيئين أكثر من النفط. يعني عندنا تقريبا 1800 كيلو من السواحل، وعندنا آلاف وآلاف الكيلومترات من الأراضي الزراعية. فهذه الأشياء الحين بدأوا يركزوا عليها، وطبعا الأولوية والتشجيع يكون للمواطنين. ترى لازم تحرك الأشياء. احنا سنين كنا نفكر ونخطط حال التعميم، زين، إن حسب الأشياء والطريقة اللي احنا نشتغل فيها كيف نعمل تعميم ونوظف العمانيين. ما فكرنا، يعني اللي سوى فينا Covid-19 في 5 أسابيع فقط إن خلانا نفكر out of the box، إن أولا نخلق قطاعات وندخل فيهم العمانيين من البداية، وفي أشياء كانت ميتة ومهمشة نحييها ونطورها وندخل العمانيين. كذا نخلق، ما فقط إنك تطلع الوافد وتدخل العماني. هذا ما يعني ما في بلد في العالم. النسبة الطبيعية لأي بلد في العالم حوالي أعتقد 11 أو 13%. إنزين إحنا حالياً على 40، أعتقد 40% وافدين، أو 35-40%. فالحل ما بس إنك تطلع الوافدين وتحط العمانيين. think out of the box، إنك تخلق أشياء وتكون مستدامة. طبعاً المصنع هذا ما راح يطلع ما راح يوقف عن البزنس. العالم بحاجة إلى كمامات، فخلقنا شيء ما كنا نخلقه لولا هذه الأزمة. فالتنمية المستدامة بدون شك مبنية على شيئين: مبنية على الكوادر الوطنية، هذا أولا. والشيء الثاني مبنية على التفكير الغير تقليدي، مبنية على أشياء أنت لازم تخطط وتفكر فيها بدون ما ترجع إلى الشيء اللي أنت صار لك سنين باغي تغيرها وما قادر. يا ليتك قادر، ما قادر. قطاعات سنين شغالين عليها وما قادرين نعمم. أعتقد تتوقعوا أني أكمل الكلام، بس خلصت أنا.
سوري دكتورنا كنت على الميوت. شكرا دكتورنا للمداخلة للرد، وشكرا الدكتورة نجاة للمداخلة. والحين احنا عرفنا ان عمان عندهم موز وخيار، وعندهم مصنع كمامات، وعندهم اسماك وزراعة. خلاص احنا بني عمان اول ما تخلص الازمة ان شاء الله. فتعرف ان نقول ان ختامها مسك، فعندنا استاذ عبد العزيز عرادي، he's the heart of BSTD و we just love this family member. So استاذ عبد العزيز راح افتح لك المايك وخليك تتكلم، سو unmute، وانت بتكون اخر مداخلة لنا اليوم ان شاء الله. تفضل ابا.
الو،
اهلا
مساء
وسهلا
الخير.
استاذ عبد العزيز، مساء النور. تفضل ابا.
مساء الخير دكتور رامين.
الله بالنور والسرور، مرحبا بك.
نورتنا ونورتنا صراحة، ومحاضرة جدا قيمة تبعث على الأمل والتفاؤل دائما.
الله يسلمك، منور بوجودكم.
سميرة ساعدت بشكل بروفيشنال، بشكل مهني في عملية يعني سلاسة الموضوع بشكل أو بآخر. على العموم أنا عندي مداخلة بسيطة وأتمنى أختمها بسؤال. أعتقد بأن الفترة اللي مرت علينا دكتور هي علمتنا شيء مهم، كيفية إدارة الأزمات، وأعطت لدول الخليج كامل الثقة بأنها قادرة على إدارة الأزمة، وخلقت وتطورنا بشكل سريع في كل معاملاتنا الحكومية، القطاع الخاص، كل المعاملات في دول الخليج تطورت بشكل قوي جدا، وأصبحنا سابقين لعصرنا في كثير من الأمور. الخوف ما بعد الأزمة برأيك، هل هذا التطور راح يدفع باتجاه تطور أفضل، ولا راح نرجع مرة ثانية لكواردم 1؟ من التفاؤل اللي طرحت، خاصة أنت تكلمت في أحد السلايدات أو الكويستشنير، أنا أعتقد هي كلها جميعا، هي باديميك، هي يعني اللي بتسميها opportunity، هي لكن كلها مع بعض تمخض عنها يعني برامج ويعني وحلول وأساليب متطورة للعمل ودفع عجلة التعليم إلى الأمام. إذا اليوم إحنا عندنا، أنت تتكلم عن عمان حصلوا كورسات ودرجة ديجري للتأهيل، فإحنا من زمان كنا نقول إنه أوكي اللي أونلاين، هل مجلس التعليم العالي هنا راح يقبل هذه الشهادات في المستقبل؟ في نفس الوقت هل إحنا كمجتمع بعد هالتطور قابلين نرجع برا مرة ثانية لكوارم 1؟ وشكرا. ألو؟
شكرا أخ عبد العزيز. أنا ما بس بعلق بشكل بسيط بالنسبة للتعليم اللي ذكرته. احنا عندنا تقريبا 3800 طالب رجعوا من الولايات المتحدة وكندا خلال الأزمة على أساس يرجعوا لأهاليهم. في كثير جلسوا، بس 3800 هذيل كلهم راح يكملوا شهاداتهم أونلاين. فنوعا ما أجبرنا بعد الأزمة أو خلال الأزمة أن نتقبل الأونلاين تريننج. معاملاتنا الحكومية احنا الحين طبعا معظم الدول حتى أمريكا كذا الوافدين علاجهم صار بلاش خلال الفترة هذه. التصاريح التجارية والصناعية، ملكيات السيارات، كل شيء صار أونلاين وإيميديت. كان الشخص الوافد لما يطلع برا ما يقدر يجدد إقامته، لازم يرجع، سامحوا لهم وانت برا أي مكان في العالم جدد إقامتك أونلاين. يعني أشياء طبعا ما كلها راح تبقى ما بعد، بس أعتقد ما راح نرجع ما كنا عليه، ما راح نرجع للنمط القديم، راح يكون في تغييرات. واعتقد ولله الحمد والمنه ان القياده البحرينيه قياده رشيده، قياده واعيه، قياده تتاقلم مع التغييرات. والقياده عندنا ولله الحمد والمنه في السلطنه ان يعني سند ودعم لنا، ومدخرين حياتهم على اساس يساعدوا الشعب والمواطنين. فهذه الاشياء لو تفيدنا ولو يشوفوا النتائج، انا ما اعرف في البحرين اكيد نفس الشيء، بس عندنا كل خطوه يسووها هذا داشبورد، والداشبورد هذا بيوريك مدى في كل الوزارات في داشبورد ان هذا الشيء ايش نتيجته، ايش الاستفاده منه، ايش الايجابيات، ايش السلبيات. فلما راح يشوفوا النتائج هذه بدون شك ما حد باغي يرجع للوراء، وراح تستمر الاشياء هذه. الشيء الوحيد اللي سواه COVID-19 سرع الامور، it fast tracked بدون شك، it fast tracked.
شكرا جزيلا دكتورنا. واحدة من الفاست تراكس اللي احنا كنا قبل ننتظر مؤتمر لمؤتمر عشان نقدر نشوفك، واليوم انت we are so grateful to have you with us and thank you for your generosity. Thank you for all your input and big heart to give us from the wisdom and whatever you're going through it, and we are learning from it all together. We are all into it together. احنا كلنا في هاي المرحلة مع بعض، والحمد لله رب العالمين ننعم علينا أن نكون في دول نفس سلطنة عمان والبحرين اللي عندنا قيادة بهالكيفية، وعندنا ناس ليدرز نفسك انت، نفس الناس الليدرز اللي عندنا في الجمعية بعد كأعضاء أو كإدارة. الحمد لله أن احنا وصلنا الحين إلى 8:30 نهاية البرنامج اليوم. Thank you so much. دكتورنا شنو your last word to wrap up today's session؟
الشيء الوحيد اللي أريد أقوله أولاً، كل حركة وكل تغيير وكل إيجابية، كل اللي نتمناه ونسمع عنه ونفكر فيه بيدنا إحنا كل واحد منا له دور ولو 5% ولو 10%، لكن كل واحد بيدنا المفتاح وبيدنا السكان على أساس نقرر أي اتجاه نروح، السلبي أو الإيجابي، البناء أو الهدام، الستريس لس ولا ستريس فول. فهذه الأشياء بيدنا. أتمنى لكم أولا أشكركم جزيل الشكر، أشكر أنت يا أخت سميرة على الدعم التكنيكال اللي من الصباح جالسة تعطي، من أمس جالسة تعطيني، وأيضا إدارتش البروفيشنال وإدارتش الممتازة للجلسة. أشكر الجميع ومنكم السموحة على لو غلط أو قلت شيء، وأتمنى لكم وأتمنى لعوائلكم وأهل مملكة البحرين إخواننا وتاج راسنا، أتمنى لكم الصحة والعافية، وإن شاء الله نطلع كلنا من هالأزمة بشكل أفضل. A new version، كل واحد منا version 3.0 بيكون إن شاء الله.
شكرا دكتورنا. thank you so much، وشكرا لكل ال BSTD family members and guests. حياكم الله. please stay safe, stay home، وخلكم في البيت، وإن شاء الله نشوفكم في الندوات الإلكترونية الجاية إن شاء الله. شكرا دكتورنا.
الله يحفظكم، وشكرا للجمعية أيضا نسيت أذكرها، أشكركم. شكرا.
شكرا. good night everybody. good night.